All right, folks, we are here on day 6 of Nationals, presented by Beretta, and I'm here with Beretta Pro shooter, JJ Racaza. JJ, thank you so much for coming to Nationals. Let's talk about what you did today for these kids. At 10 a.m., you started a little shooting clinic. You worked really closely with these kids. I was very impressed with how well you taught the kids. I mean, do you have kids of your own? Because you're a natural.
Yes. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor, right, to be able to do this for a living. And then now I get to actually pass the knowledge to the juniors. Yes, I do have 2 kids of my own. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And just barring that, I guess, helped me deal with younger kids that are a little older. These kids that I was working with today were 12, 13 and above. Maybe some of them are 10, but they were very mature for their age. Being able to handle a firearm, you have to be, right? Yeah. So it's pretty neat to see that. They were able to pick up some of the concepts fairly quickly, which was pretty neat to see.
Yeah, you busted out the whiteboard at first. It was kind of talking over the topics, and then you brought them into the shooting bay, discussed a little bit more, and then we went hot with their own firearms too. What I was really impressed with, it wasn't just you shooting. You brought them in. You worked closely with the athletes, the coaches, the parents. You really brought the whole SASP family together to talk about some of these concepts of really saving time on your stages. So thank you so much. I was so impressed.
Thank you so much. My goal was today really to work with the kids, right? And I knew if I got like some one-on-one time with the kids, I'll be able to see the movement that they had. And if their movement was incorrect, I was going to be able to adjust that. And then I knew coming into here that these kids have dads, have coaches. And so if I can work with the dads and coaches and give them some little tips and bits about that particular shooter that they're working with, it gives them something to walk away from. And not only is it just going to be another tip, it makes it a memorable experience if I allow them to shoot and work with each other while I'm there supervising. And with that, it was such a successful day. I didn't know how it was going to I didn't know how it was going to turn out. However, it turned out really, really well. There was a lot of laughters, but there was a lot of learnings. And I got pulled aside I don't know how many times today, but parents and coaches alike was like, man, we really appreciate that. That was awesome. So I felt great. I felt, even though it's been a long day, it was an awesome day for me.
Yeah, I knew that was how it was going to be because, at first they might have been intimidated of what they're doing, but you pull it in, and it was like you said, everyone's laughing their butt off constantly. So, thank you so much for that. And then after you had the shooting clinic, we actually had a quick little raffle for the kids that were attending the shooting clinic. They got to shoot the 4 SASP stages with you. Some egos might have been checked, yes or no? Yes,
one of them was mine. Some of these kids can definitely, this is their game, this is their world. Some of them literally perform to the best of their ability in this game. They're familiar with the targets, they're familiar with the rhythm. So it was one of my things that I've never shot this kind of setup before. So it was kind of one of those things that I just had to fall back into my fundamentals and rely on them. And then I fell in the trap of one of the stages where I was like, you know what, I'm going to push a little bit here. I'm on my live. I got this kid that shot well. I'm going to push a little bit. And when I did that, immediately my flaws came to show, that my inexperience in this kind of shooting came to show. And then immediately I knew what I had to do for the next couple of stages to at least save face. So with that said, yes, one of the egos that got checked was mine.
Well, thank you for, quote, doing it for the gram, right?
Exactly. Doing it for the gram never really helps.
No, those kids, they were so appreciative. They were just so giddy to see you. Even if they didn't know you before, they know you now. Yeah, everyone just had such a good time.
It was really cool to hear that the backgrounds of where and how they met me or know of me. Some of them saw me on YouTube. Some of them saw me on Instagram or some video that got reposted of mine.
Top Shot was
one guy was like, man, when I first saw Top Shot, I was 2 years old. I watched it again recently. He goes, I'm 12 now. And he goes, man, I'm such a big fan. I'm a bigger fan now that I even met you. And I'm like, my gosh, I don't even understand like how to accept that or absorb that. You know, it's something that was never a reality, and now it's becoming a reality that these kids look up to me, and it's something that I'm not used to yet or accustomed to, but it's nice to see that or know that, as for lack of a better word, I'm a role model, and it still kind of baffles me a little bit, and it's cool to see that these kids look up to me in such a way that I never had. I wish I had something like this when I was a kid, and this opportunity for them to have this and see someone that they actually admire and get to train and get to work with them and give them that little path or show them that light a little bit helps a lot. And it felt great for me. It was as good for me as it was for them. I can say you that. It was such a good experience.
Now, can you believe that this is actually the largest action shooting event in the world, and it's all with kids?
I heard it's about 7,800 people. It's like 10-day match. It's unreal how this is so big, and it's all juniors. I couldn't understand that, and I'm walking around here just absorbing the feel of it. And it's like such a crazy event. It's unreal. Whoever set this up first, kudos to you.
Well, we'll take credit for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's growing every single year. This is each year it breaks records as far as the largest action shooting event in the world. And imagine, if even more juniors understood that you can shoot on a shooting team to represent your local community, your school. This can get huge, and it's only going to grow from here.
Right. And the coolest thing about it is that it exposes the sponsors, the kids out there with natural talent, and or guys that have been working hard beneath the shadows, behind the doors, and then all of a sudden they show up here and they got that exposure in front of all these possible companies that want to help them out. And I didn't have that resource in the beginning. We had to work hard for ourselves, and we had to skim and budget and do all of that stuff. Here, these kids get that possibility and the potential to be able to be shooting for a team or expose themselves to a larger platform, and this is a great platform to do that in.
Is it a little bit surreal for you coming full circle? Because
Yes.
you maybe give them a quick background if they don't know you. When did you start shooting? How did you get involved shooting?
I started shooting in 1988. I got involved in it because it was a necessity in the Philippines that my dad looked at me and said, "Hey, you need to be able to shoot the gun and protect the family just in case I'm not home." He was doing a lot of surgeries, and sometimes he would get called for surgery that lasted 6 to 8 hours a day, or sometimes through the night. And he was a doctor, and so he was not always home during the nights. And sometimes, we would be left there, right? So he was like, "Hey, just in case anything happens, you need to learn how to pull a pistol and pull a shot and protect your sisters and your family, just in case it's you being the only man in the house now." And so at 8 years old, learn how to shoot a gun, and then from there, going to ranges, seeing some people shoot matches and field courses, we started getting interested, and that's how it started. In 1988, I went to 1993, haven't stopped. I immigrated to the U.S. 99, started again. So I had a 6-year layoff from 1988, 1993 to 1999 was my layoff. And then since 1999, I haven't stopped yet. So I've been shooting for, give or take, about 27, 28 years now.
And now you're teaching kids.
It's unreal. Yeah.
Dream come true?
100%. I don't even think I could say it's a dream come true. It's a dream that I can continue to live. And shooting has allowed me to walk through doors that I never thought I could walk through.
Well, thank you for opening those doors for future generations to shoot.
It's unreal that I'm one of those doors now, right? It's even to think that I get goosebumps. But yes, you're very welcome. It's my honor and truly a humble experience being here today.
Would you have any kind of advice for these kids? I know you gave them one-on-one advice, but for any that are not attending nationals and are listening to this, would you have any kind of advice, whether it be a technique, single-on-one technique, or maybe just a mindset thing?
It's hard for me to give like a one single technique depending on what level you are. Really, to me, set up your mindset. Know that you're going to be in it for the long run. In order for you to be in it for the long haul, you really need to love and have the passion that you need to. I love being in the firearms industry. The community is amazing. What we do in regards to the sport, the purpose behind it, and now what I can do with just specifically shooting competitions, it's unreal. So to me, one little hint I would tell the kids is just to work your butt off and be the best you possibly can be. So maybe, hopefully, one day when you go to compete out there, it'll be good enough to win a national title or world title, or maybe save someone else's life.
But also have fun along the way.
100%. Yep. It's always going to be fun. As you can see today, I was laughing my butt off the whole entire day.
Yeah, JJ went live. And at one point, he hadn't loaded his mags up, so he handed his phone off to a kid.
That was horrible. I wasn't ready for that. So mentally, I was screwed already. And then I had to perform in front of all those kids.
Oh, well, they look up to you. They're so happy to see you. Thank you for donating your time. And, thank you for sitting down and talking to me.
Tom, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me out here.